Hello, Jake Like here, gaming lawyer at your service. We are back again with Great Ace Attorney, and this time we are going to talk to ballerina, a Russian ballerina. What is she going to say? Let's find out. No, I am not Grimsby Roylet. My real name is Nikolina Pavlova. Everything you said was correct. You absconded during one of your ballet company's performances in order to escape your homeland. Later that same night, you stole a body's vessel, which couldn't have been easy. The Bria is a huge steamship with a vast crew. Could you really have snuck upon the board without being noticed? In order to obscure your true identity, you somewhat recklessly took the guise of an old gentleman, and you intended to sever all links with your past by severing your long hair. Yet, to a woman, hair is no trifling matter. My personal recommendation is to leave well alone. So, so, if it was just you about to cut your own hair, what was it that let out the scream we heard from outside the cabin? That veritable tinkling of a bell? Why, none other than this young lady, naturally. More like a full set of pipes, if you ask me. I was so scared. When I ran away in Shanghai, I was sure they would come looking for me. That's why I decided to, how do you say, disgust myself. So no, oh, this guy. So no one would recognize my. As a result, you transform yourself into that questionable old man. I see. I put on the fur hat and fake beard. Then, just before you came in here, I saw in the newspaper. Right on the page, there was a picture of me. I was so frightened, I couldn't stop from screaming. I knew that if I didn't change my appearance completely, they would find me. So I decided to cut all my hair as fastly as possible and picked up the scissors in my hand, and at that precise moment we walked in through the annoyingly unlocked cabin door. Things happen like that sometimes, don't they? Things do indeed happen like that from time to time. Are those two even talking about the same thing? There's just one more thing I'd like to know. What exactly do you have inside your traveling case? You were right, it is my dear friend inside, my only friend in the whole world. Please, don't tell anyone. If the captain finds out, if you say to any of the crew. Your secret is safe with us, I assure you. But in return, you must tell us, in as much detail as you can muster, about the events of last night. Yes, all right. I will tell you. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, wasn't it something Mr. Sholmes' great? Wasn't it something Mr. Sholmes' great deduction? It was certainly something, yes. I'm just not entirely sure what. At least Miss Pavlova has agreed to tell us what she knows. That's incredible. Indeed, it is incredible. Ah, and one more thing. Oh, yeah? Observe your wrists. My. God damn it! Ah, your hands are cuffed again. What? But how? You son of a... True to my word, I have restored your shackles. Grr. When and why? There is still a shadow of guilt cast over you, Mr. Naruto. I'm so sorry to say. It can't be helped at the moment. Can't it? Really? Anyway, let's listen to what Miss Pavlova has to say. I can't go on without knowing. I have to find out what the speckled band that Kazuma-sama wrote about in his dear diary really was. Converse. What happened last night? Did you know that someone was killed in the cabin next door to this one last night? One of the crewmen told me this morning when I was eating breakfast. The man who died, he was a friend of mine. Oh, that's why we're trying to find out what happened. Did you notice anything? Did you notice anything unusual last night? Perhaps you heard a strange noise, for example. Perhaps people talking? Perhaps the ship was absorbed in a wild tempest. Perhaps its steam engine exploded. What the hell are you talking about? Perhaps everyone's on board would have noticed if that happened. Mr. Holmes. Miss Pavlova, is there anything you can tell us? I don't know. I'm sorry. But all I could think about last night was what I had done and whether they would find me. I didn't notice anything that was happening around me. Oh, I see. You've run away from your ballet company, haven't you? The Nova Beach Ballet? Yes. I am traveling to Great Britain, and from there I want to go to America. I will never dance again. I want to forget everything about the ballet. I will start a new life. You wish to forget? A challenging proposition. When you have that striking tiara as a reminder. But the tiara is mine. I need it to live. I have no money of my own. The Nova Beach Ballet gave us only little food and water, and we must dance all over the world. I had to run away. I had no choice. If I stayed, it would have killed me. So you ran away to protect yourself? Yes, and the crew of this ship, they all have been kind to me. They let me come on board, and they say I could hide in this cabin. If that is indeed the truth, Miss Pavlova, it creates a most intriguing conundrum. Yes, it does. What do you think about it, Mr. Naruto? Me? Oh, well, yes, of course. I think we should hear Miss Pavlova's explanation. To what conundrum? I'm not sure, but... Miss Pavlova, allow me to pose you a riddle. According to this newspaper, it was only yesterday that you absconded from the ballet. Now, that being the case, it must have been last night that you boarded this vessel. However, the SS Puria stopped by no port last night. Ah, that's it, of course. So how is it, pray, that you come to be aboard? Now that I think about it, the crewman outside the cabin acted very strangely when we mentioned that. It was just after we asked him about when the occupant of this cabin came aboard. That is not your business. Business. Yes, you're right. He did seem to be hiding something. An angel descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to the stage. Sorry, what was that? It is how the Russian newspapers described one of my performances. And that is how I came here too. Came here too. I descended from the heavens because I am an angel. Okay. Considering English isn't your mother tongue, your description is very vivid. Mr. Sholmes once said, I never can resist a touch of the dramatic. It seems Miss Pavlova is the same. A genius descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to detection. What words once said about myself. A quote from a wonderfully extravagant advertisement for the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, in fact. Yes, Mr. Showy. Anyway, it doesn't look like Miss Pavlova is going to tell us what really happened. So the friend you mentioned is inside your traveling case, is that right? I don't think animals are allowed on board, according to the rules of passage. Oh, please, don't tell. Don't tell anyone or any of the crew. If they find out my precious, then the burly Russians would bestir themselves in unison to throw you and your case overboard, no doubt. Ugh. So reassuring, Mr. Sholmes. What sort of pet is your friend? A little puppy? It is, isn't it? No. Maybe an adorable little rabbit? No. Ha! You credit Russia as a land with small rabbits, do you? Oh, don't tell. Oh, don't they have small rabbits there? Then you may well ask. I have no idea. You two are miserable bunglers when it comes to understanding the nature of young ballerina's friends. Isn't it obvious? It must be a chicken. Really? Consider the benefits. A rousing wake-up call, daily fresh eggs, and when adversity strikes, it could satisfy the needs of sustenance. So you'd eat your friends. I'll remember that. No. Well, it will appear his friend's identity is a closely guarded secret to not to be revealed. I'm a dumbass. She obviously doesn't quite trust us yet. There's something I should like to show her, I think. Maybe she might be able to shed some light on it. Back. I guess I have to present something. This? This is the diary of my friend who passed away. His diary? Yes, and he wrote in it last night before he died. Something a little unusual. It reads, 1:33 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound, and then a few minutes later, 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? I don't understand. It's strange, isn't it? But the ventilator he mentions joins to this cabin, you see. It's up there on the wall. In other words, his cabin and the victim's cabin are connected together. Oh! Miss Pavlova? Has something occurred to you? Does the speckled band the victim mentioned mean something to you? Or the whistling sound, perhaps? No, I don't know anything. Oh. Okay. Knock, knock. Excuse me, Mr. Roylett. Yes? What? Wow, she's fast. Captain would like to speak with you. You must come to Captain's quarters at once. Please. Alright, I will come now. What? You must leave. Now. Oh no, it's fine. Don't mind us. Yes, please don't worry yourself, Mr. Roylet. Get out! The passenger said out. Or you want me to throw you out? Ugh, it looks like we'll have to leave investigating this cabin until later. What a pity. And so we lost our chance. Having still not managed to investigate Miss Pavlova's cabin, we were unceremoniously cleared the chase out. That is to say, we were quite literally picked up and thrown into the passageway outside. To be continued. Save my current progress. Yes. Biak. Yes, Biak, yeah. Yes, Kias, Kiabian, Piasiatua. I wish we hadn't been thrown out like that. I wish we had managed to find some clue as to what that speckled band might be. We didn't manage to investigate at all. And I imagine that we won't be able to for a little while longer. We'll never get past that sailor guarding the door. He's clearly getting at us as if to say, don't even think about it. Oh, wait a minute. What is it? Well, what happened to our great detective friend? Where did he go? Oh yes, he's completely disappeared. When did he do that? He slipped away as quietly as the wind, but not before ensuring this was securely back on my wrists. Okay. So I'm guessing I should go back to my room. First class cabin number 1. Yes, that's our cabin. Not our cabin. It's Kazuma-sama. Sorry. Your accommodation is confined to the wardrobe inside the cabin. You know how to make a story feel small, don't you? As small as the wardrobe I've been calling home. Anyway, I wonder if Inspector Hosonaga has managed to uncover any clues. Yes, we should probably find him and ask. Alright, so move. It looks like they are still investigating in here. Yes, on that subject, I wonder if Inspector Hosonaga is unscathed. What do you mean, unscathed? Surely you haven't forgotten, have you, Naruto-san? Don't you remember what he said about allowing you out of this cabin to investigate? He was going to talk to the captain about it. He said he'd lay his life on the line for you. Oh yes, but I'm sure he was exaggerating. Let's see what he has to say for himself. He might have some new information for us. You never know. Where is he? Over there. Oh, you're back. Inspector, what happened to you? Your face is... Please, don't worry about it. They're just scratches. Made by a bear, maybe. When I told the captain that I'd given you permission to investigate, he told me he'd pummel me with his fists and then tossed me overboard. What? but the pummeling was over in a flash, and he must have decided against throwing me overboard. So it was nothing really. It looks like he wasn't joking when he said he'd lay his life on the line if he had to. Well, thanks for your efforts. We now know a little about the neighboring cabin. Yes, so I understand. Oh, I bumped into a man claiming to be a great detective a little while ago. I think his name was something like Sherlock Holmes. I don't think he was German though. Ah, that explains it. Shall we compare notes then? We can tell you what we found out. What we found out. Yes, let's do it. What? Nikolina Pavlova? She's in the next cabin next door? Oh, do you know who she is? Please, what self-respecting ballet fan would know that graceful angel? Oops, I think I upset him there. Well, that tells us the neighboring cabin is unrelated to the case at least. Oh, how? Because angels don't go around committing crimes, do they? Oops, now I definitely upset him. Inspector, has your investigation here proved fruitful? If I'm honest, there's very little more I can do. Our duty is to make sure that scene isn't disturbed, ready to hand over to the Hong Kong police. So I'm just keeping watch here, trying not to take my eyes off the job. Oh, I see. Ah, there's one thing. I do have a small piece of new information for you. Oh, what? Yes, do tell us, Inspector, please. Now, information. What is this new information you have, Inspector? It's this. The Buria's medical officer has finished his examination of the body. I managed to obtain the report. Oh, Kazuma's post-mortem report? Kazuma-sama. 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 Kazuma. So, what was the cause of the death? Damage to the cervical vertebrae is what's written in the report. His neck was broken? Yes, it would seem so. There were no obvious wounds or other signs of injury. So at first I think they were considering poison. But it turns out they found no trace of poison in his system at all. Well, what weapon was used then? Nothing has been found as yet, but the fact that there are no signs of a wound suggests it may have been a blunt object. Well, there's no wound, but there definitely should be some sort of bruise. Something that won't leave a mark. Oh, I see. All the body's all the body's nerves run through the spine to the brain. A strong enough impact to the neck could induce death. Is it a possibility and no obvious wound be left? Poor Kazuma. Poor Kazuma. I have a second copy of the report. If it might be useful, you're welcome to have it. Really? Are you sure? Yes, it's fine. I trust you. After all, if I didn't trust you, I'd never have agreed to leaving this cabin in the first place, would I? Ah. The postmortem has been returned to the court record. Cervical spine injury. There were no traces of external injury or poison. Ah, Mr. Sholmes was here, was he? Yes. He seemed to be enjoying himself a little too much as he crept up out on the floor investigating. But then he suddenly left. I suppose he must have become bored. Did he say anything at all? Actually, now you mention it, yes, just one thing, but he practically shouted it. It's shoe polish, was all he said. Shoe polish? I wonder what he meant. It was when he was over there by the piece of broken glass. Do you see? Ah, perhaps he was talking about this brick-colored mark. Do you think? Sorry. Perhaps he was talking about this brick-colored mark. Do you think? Oh, yes, that must be it. But how could you, Mr. Sholes, know that's shoe polish? That leaves me cold, I'm afraid. I have no idea. What is it, Susato-san? Well, Kazuma-sama was wearing leather shoes with a very dark tan hue. Dark tan? A sort of dark brownish red then. Yes, a little like the color of red wine, but darker. Often repaired them for him. Oh, does this mean that this mark was made by the polish of Kazuma's shoes as they scuff on the floor? A piece of small glass object and what looks like a scuff mark made by Kazuma's shoes were found by the victim's body. That's really all I can tell you at this stage. I shall return to my post. My fellow crewmen's eyes are boring into the back of my head. Yes, that might be for the best. Thank you. Poor Inspector. You look exhausted. Oh, no. Well, I feel terrible that I failed to protect Asogi-san. It was my responsibility. Of course, my pain is nothing compared to yours. You are his friends. The truth is, I seem to have had a heavy head ever since I woke this morning. A heavy head? That's interesting. My head's still throbbing too. Alright. Should we talk to this Sean? You, where do you go? Oh, sorry, I just want to. Why? What gave you permission for this? Well, Simon Hosonaga did. That new Japanese, was it? Later, I will roll him into bowl and throw him in cold room. Well, he's gone back to guarding the door. I hope Inspector Hosonaga doesn't find himself in too much trouble on your account. He's really gone out of his way to help us, hasn't he? Hasn't he? Sorry. When we get back to Japan, we'll have to take him for a stick at La Carnival. It could be a very long time from now, Naruto-san. Okay, let's investigate this again, I guess. It really is such a beautiful color, this glass. Looks like whatever it was has broken in two, but the other half is nowhere to be seen. There's the brick-colored mark, which is shoe polish, according to the great detective you seem to know about. I suppose it must be from Kazuma-sama's shoes. Maybe, but what I'd like to know is, how can the detective be so sure it's shoe polish and not something else? Because he's a great detective, of course. That's hardly a reason, is it? Okay. Do I have to investigate everything now? Is it the same thing? Yeah, I think it's the same thing. Okay, same thing. Oops. Go here. I guess I have to re-examine all these things again. So it's clear it says within a man was built behind this spelled Russian white wardrobe. There does seem to be ambiguous point to you, I understand you were sleeping there, but to be ambiguous, it should have spelled out my name, don't you think? Well, either way, one fact remains. It's hard to imagine customer someone would have written this last words in Russian, which begs the question of who did it right. Who did write it? That's a very large traveling case, isn't it? Yes, it carries a lot of memories for me. Memories? What do you mean? Well, that's actually how I stowed away on this vessel. I was brought on board this case. Ah, yes, I see it says this way up in Japanese, which in hindsight I should have realized the foreign crewmen wouldn't be able to read. I was turned over and over and over, and then I was tossed over on the floor in here. Oh dear, being a story isn't as romantic as it sounds. Well, it was less painful than a Susato takedown. Okay. Nothing. This is where Kasama spent his final months by writing his diary. Okay. Nothing new, right? Back up again. Look at this one here on this page. It's almost possible to believe that he's gone. Okay, we have to solve this mystery now, Dosan. We will. Alright. I think you should stop here. Time's up, actually. Yeah. So, thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying this. I am slightly sleepy. I've been it's late recording this. So well, see you next time. I hope I'm not boring. No. In any case, take care. Stay hopeful, but be critical. Bye bye.